Hey guys, welcome back. A lot has changed. Clearly I'm in a new location. I have moved. Today I'm hopping on here because my sister-in-law and dear friend Taylor asked me to help her open up her hips a little bit. She's moving as well, and so her hips are feeling really tight. So I just wanted to go over my basic hip opening moves that I'll do if my hips are bothering me. So this is less of a flow and more just information. Yeah, but let's get started. My first go-to is going to be a low lunge. So we can start standing, or I'm going to stay seated just because of where the camera is placed. We're going to start with our left leg forward. We're going to keep our knee over our ankle, and then slide your back knee back until you feel good. We're going to raise from our pelvic floor here, so we're going to stay lifted. We're not going to drop too low, just to protect everything. So we're staying lifted. You can stay with just your hands on your knee here to start. Breathe here for a couple of breaths. And then when here starts to feel really good, or like you could get a deeper stretch in, you're going to do a lizard variation. So drop your hands down to the ground, or even you can drop your elbows down to the ground if that feels good to you. While you're doing that, you can grab your left foot and push out with your elbow to create some tension there in your inner thigh. Then you can just play around. You can lean a little bit to your left, lean a little bit to your right. Everyone's hip is going to be tense in a different spot. So some of these moves might be easy for you, some of them might be hard. Yoga's awesome because you can just take what feels good for you. You don't feel obligated to feel the rest. I always like to put a little hamstring stretch in when I'm stretching out my hips, just because oftentimes tight hamstrings or tight quads can lead to tight hips. So we're going to do a quick little runner stretch here, half split. Keep your hips aligned. And then we can switch sides. Bring our right foot forward, knee parallel with the ankle below. Remember to lift up from your pelvic floor. And then if you need a little bit more of a challenge, you can drop to your hands or your elbows. Again, you can put your hand on your right foot and press outward on your knee if that feels good. And if not, just breathe. If you have tight hips, this is going to feel really good. I'm going to go back into the half split, other side this time, keeping your hips aligned. Awesome. From here we're going to move hands outward in front of you, curl your toes under, and find your way into a downward dog. Pedal it out. Find what feels good here. There's no picture perfect pose. Every body is different. From here, you're going to raise your right toes this time up to the sky, and then we're going to leave them at like a 2 o'clock. So if the floor is a clock, your knees at 2 o'clock. Keep your hands on the ground, keep your chest lifted, and we're going to try to sink our left hip into the ground. You should have a really good stretch in your left front hip flexor. Also your right glute. Pigeon pose. If you want more of a challenge with this one, you can drop down to your elbows or reach out in front of you, bringing your forehead all the way to the ground. We're gonna lift up the same way we got in it. So curl your back toes under. We're gonna go back into downward dog. Awesome, we're gonna raise our our left foot up this time. Three-legged dog, just to find our way into pigeon pose. So now our left knee is gonna be at 10 o'clock. Trying to bring our right hip flexor to the floor. Hips should be aligned. Again, you can go down to your elbows or all the way down to your forehead. Awesome. Lift back up into downward dog. And then we can find a seated position. We're going to bring our feet out in front of us, hands behind us. We're going to cross your left leg over your right. This alone should feel really good in your left hip, outer hip, glute area. I'm going really quickly through these just to show you the exercises that I like to do, but feel free to stay in each pose for 30 seconds to 2 minutes, really to get a good stretch in your hips. You can switch sides. Awesome, we're going to do a deeper variation of that on our backs. So lay flat on the ground. We're going to cross our right leg over our left knee. This alone might feel good to you, or you can thread the needle, lift up your your left leg parallel to the ground. I like to flex my foot just to keep it active, but you can flex, it doesn't really matter. We're focusing on the sensation in our right glute and outer hip. Switch sides. Left ankle is going to be over your right knee this time. And lift, thread the needle and lift. Keeping your hips aligned and your right shin parallel to the ground. Awesome, release. We're going to bring our legs out long. Just play around in our hip socket with our right leg this time. So our knee is bent and we're just going to do some circles either way. You can open the gate. Just play around with what feels good with your hip today. We're going to switch sides. Left knee into the chest. And then just give your hip socket a little massage on the left side this time. Awesome. From here, we're going to bring both of our knees up this time. Then we're going to lift our feet to the sky, reach inside, grab the insides of our feet, and push down. This is called Happy Baby. You can also grab your toes. If you can't grab your feet, you can grab your ankles, whatever feels good to you. The thing that we're focusing on is keeping our lower back flush to the ground, pressing outward with our knees, really opening up our hips here. Feet should be parallel to the ceiling. You can give yourself a little rock here if that feels good. Awesome. I want to finish it out with bridge pose, so we're going to return to a seat. Feet are going to be together. We're going to lift up, breathe in, and as we exhale, we're going to nosedive forward, pretending like we're looking over an edge in front of us. You can continue this pattern. When we inhale, we're going to lengthen. Exhale, nosedive forward a little bit further. You should feel this in your inner thighs as well as your outer glutes. Try to keep your back as straight and your chest as lifted as possible. Awesome. Those are my go-to stretches for any hip pain. If you give them a try, please let me know how you like them. Other recommendations I have are always hydration, 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 foam rolling, self-massage. You can take a little lacrosse ball and put it in your hip flexor and give yourself a little massage while you're watching TV or something. Laying on your stomach and foam rolling your hips is always an awesome option. Yeah, but I hope it helps. Thanks for joining.